Well, hi, folks. I'm down here in Florida. I'm a little bored. So, what do you do? So, I thought I would jump on and talk a little bit about franchises. If anyone shows up, we can see anybody's opinions. My name is Rusty, Russell, Russ, whichever you prefer. This is my channel where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror, and my favorite music, mostly metal. And like I said, I was just a little bored, so I thought I would get on and see what's up. Hey, Gore, what are you doing? Why don't you jump on with me? Oh, that's what I get for having the keyboard too far away. Yes, I was bored down here in Florida, so I thought that I would jump on and, you know, it's fucked up. Florida, God's trying to tell you something. You know what I'm saying? But I'm in North Florida, so it wasn't nowhere near us. But still, I thought it was a little bit humorous that Milton decided to pay a visit to Florida, you know. But yeah, I'm doing this live thing. Do you see? I learned how to use StreamYards, which is pretty cool. Now I can do like some live. So I couldn't really think about anything. And then I thought, what about talking about some franchises, horror franchises, and how they failed and all. But I even grabbed my Predator and Alien franchise collection just to have something to talk about. I'm just bored. But yeah, so what franchise should I start with? The big one, Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th ends at number 6 with me. I'm not a completionist. Oh, okay. Well, that's always a good thing. Floridians know that better than anyone since we're hit with a storm every 2 weeks. I'm glad you stopped by. And look, I learned how to do StreamYards, so that's pretty cool. I did a couple of tests. I'm kind of like you know what I mean? I'll be sitting there and then I notice a notification you just pop on in the middle of the night. That's kind of where I got this from. I'm like, I'm going to be like Gore. Whenever I feel like it, I'm just going to pop on and talk about shit, you know? And if somebody comes around, that's cool. And if they don't, at least I'm not sitting here bored. You know what I mean? So, yeah, especially now that I figured out how to do it. The last time I did lives, I just did through YouTube where I watched like Day of the Dead. And now that I know how to use StreamYards, I know how to join. Yeah. And I know how to give people the address to join mine. Miss Carter helped me test it a couple of nights ago. We sat for 2 hours talking shit. And I saw how to bring a person on, and everything was technically fine. We didn't have any technical issues other than me having to remember to put headphones on if I'm going to bring another person on. Otherwise, I can't hear, or it causes that echo. So it was a learning experience, but it went very well. So now I know how to do it. I'm not as afraid of doing it as I was. Yeah, she's really cool. She's got a lot of good horror knowledge, and it's not shallow surface knowledge like a lot of people have in these in this community. a lot of people think that they have a lot of knowledge because, they watch the kill count. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but watching the kill count on a movie does not qualify you as a horror film aficionado. You know, there's a couple of them that every time they are asked, did you see this movie or that movie? Their answer is always no, but I watch the kill count as if that is the same thing. I don't know. But yeah, she helped me test it. She came on, she loaded in fine. Everything worked cool. So yeah, I think I've got the basics down. And as everybody sees, I really am a redhead. So, you know, it gives them a lot of people would ask me, why is my name Red Rusty? Was I like Russian or something? I'm like, no, I'm ginger. I am a redhead. That's why they always called me Red Rusty. But yeah, yeah, it's all right. I mean, I'm very self conscious anyway. So I always think I look like a fat, ugly blimp, regardless. So, but I had to get over it. You know what I mean? I just looked at everybody else's channel and was like, well, they don't look like Brad Pitt either. So it's okay. You know what I'm saying? I just take it as it comes. But yeah, it's kind of fun. So I was like, well, I'll just get on here. What can I talk about? And then I was like, well, I'll just talk about movie franchises. That sounds cool. But you actually inspired me, yeah, because I saw the way you brought people on and just showed up in the middle of the night and did your thing. And I was like, well, let me learn how to do this. Yeah, well, you know, you have to deal the cards you have to play with the cards you're dealt. I don't think I look like a zombie or anything. I just look like a pale white redheaded dude, you know. So, but yeah, I was like, well, let me go. I thought it was going to be a lot harder to tell you the truth, which is why I never messed with it. And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't think it's going to be super hard, but I just don't want to take the time to do whatever it is that you have to do. I probably have to do a bunch of settings. I probably have to mess with a bunch of stuff. But I gave it a try. I went to StreamYards, I made an account, and then I think within 5 minutes I was online. I was live. I mean, it hooked up to my mic, it hooked up to my cam. 5 minutes after getting there, I was live on YouTube, and I was like, this isn't that hard at all. Then I learned where to get the link from. She came on the next night and helped me test how to put someone on the stream, and it's all perfect. So I mean, it was a lot easier than I thought it would be, and I wish I had done it sooner. But you know, it's worked out cool. Yeah, that I can just jump on anytime. I just throw a shirt on, uh, turn on the thing, and here we go. It's really cool. Um, I've watched a lot of your shows. I don't see how you pissed anybody off. At least I've never heard you say anything. Is it just disagreements? I mean, like, I know this community is like really unfriendly a lot. They do not like it if you do not like the movies that they like. If they don't like the movies you like, they will attack you. It's really strange to me, but a lot of them are that way. Um, and but no, I've watched a lot of your shows. I've never seen you. I know you had a problem because you talked about it, but I never really understood what that problem was about because I've never seen you do or say anything that I would think would piss anybody off. So it's kind of strange. I piss people off, but it's only because I don't like the movies that they like or like stuff that they don't like, you know. Like I love the Nail Gun Massacre and people will call me names about that and I'm like, well, it's okay if you don't like it, but you don't need to make fun of me for spending $30 to get the remaster of Nail Gun Massacre. What business is it of yours? I didn't spend your money. That is definitely true. I do have to I admit that I do have to watch my mouth sometimes. Um, but even if you watch my videos, I don't do it a lot. I say exactly the way it is. And yeah, no, people don't like that. People don't like that at all. I wanted to do a watch along with Walking Tall, the original Walking Tall, Buford Pusser. And I just bought it on Vudu because it's too expensive to buy the Blu-ray, which is like $50. So I bought it on Vudu because I was desperate to see it again since a kid. I was a kid and I wanted to do a watch along, but they used the N word, and I mean it was 1973. And so I changed my mind and didn't do a watch along because so much of the language in it would have been somebody would have started shit over me, I'm sure. And then I would have cussed them out and it would have just been a big ugly mess, you know. So, but yeah, they do hate the truth. Well, if it doesn't match their truth. And as long as it is the truth that I'm telling and it's not just some weird conspiracy theory or shit like that, as long as it's not something that's provably wrong, as long as it is the truth, I feel pretty righteous about it. You know, whatever I say, I can back up. Otherwise, I don't say it. My granddaddy taught me when I was a little kid, he was like, keep your mouth shut until you know what you're talking about. So if I do say something, I have researched it. You know what I mean? I have researched it from legitimate sources, not Fox News or nothing, not some news agency. I have researched it from legitimate sources, whether it's Israel or Ukraine or a political issue or anything like that. I don't listen to a news station. I go straight to the source and then I tell my opinion. And if they don't like it, oh well, I know I got my opinion from the truth and I will say it. So don't ask me. That's usually what I tell them. You know, honestly, I just say, if somebody's like, what do you think about Israel? I'm like, you don't want to talk to me about that. Or, what do you think about Ukraine? Or what do you think about this issue or that issue? I'm like, I don't think we should discuss that because you're not going to like me very much, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe you will. I don't know. But I'd just rather not. Because if you start shit with me, it's going to be like a tennis match, man. I'm going to be John McEnroe and I'm going to hit it right back in your court without a second thought. I have a criminal psychology degree. I was going to be a profiler. Um, I had my college fund. My dad had my college fund, and I didn't know what to do, so I didn't use it for a long time. And then I saw Silence of the Lamb. I saw Silence of the Lambs, and the truth is, I wanted to be Jodie Foster, not her, female. I'm saying I wanted to be what Jodie Foster was. And so that's what I used my college fund for. And I got a criminal psychology degree. And then on the third year, I realized that there was no way. that I could do that. I could not be that. But I still got the degree anyway. Yeah, she is the inspiration that I chose my college major on. But I didn't end up using it. I did get it, but instead I used my minor, which is juvenile psychology. I instead became a religious cult victims counselor, and that's what I did for 14 years. So I didn't become a profiler, I became a religious cult victims counselor, meaning that I helped deprogramming teams. I helped deal with the aftermath of religious cult survivors when they got out of the cult. So that was my profession. And music. I was in a lot of heavy metal bands and punk bands and grunge bands. So, yeah, that's been my life. Being in bands, writing songs, and helping cult victims. I did watch those. Yes, I did. And they were spot on. You know, they were really, really good. You got it pretty much completely right. Yeah. I was impressed with them. Yes. The ones that you've done so far, I was impressed with. Yes. But I couldn't be a profiler. It was during the third year. I was actually in bluegrass at bands as well. I like bluegrass. I like classic country, but 98% of my time is spent listening to heavy metal, speed metal, power metal, thrash metal, very aggressive rock is what I like. Very aggressive music. I also like techno. It's aggressive. I like industrial, um, dance music. Yeah. So I mean, I like everything. I pretty much like everything except opera, rap, hip hop, and contemporary jazz. But I do like ragtime and swing jazz, but I can't stand contemporary jazz. So I like more musical genres than I dislike. But don't play no rap or hip hop, and don't play no contemporary jazz, opera. Ugh, no, none of that. So about 2% of my music collection is those kinds of music, and 98% is heavy metal, grunge, skate punk. That's what I listen to all the time. Well, like these. My last two, or well, my last three music purchases was I got the anthology box set for Ocean Color Scene, which is like an alternative rock band. I got Helmet's new album, which is skate punk. And I got Taproot's new album, which is also skate punk and new metal. So that's kind of my musical taste. Yeah, I like Suicidal Tendencies. Yeah. So yeah, skate punk, punk pop, you know, like Chevelle, Deftones, all that kind of stuff. I got everything Chevelle has ever put out, Taproot's ever put out, 10 Years has ever put out, Deftones, all that kind of good skate punk music because I am a skate punk. Misfits, Danzig, Mother, Mother. I still listen to Mother. I will still go watch the video for Mother all the time because I love that fucking song. I don't care how anybody talked about Danzig, talked about him and his shirtless muscle and all. That was fine with me. But I saw them in concert too when they were on the tour for that album. But Mother is still one of my favorite songs to this day. It's one of the best headbanging songs ever made, along with a song called Wildflower by The Cult. The Cult has a song called Wildflower that is just no metalhead, no human cannot headbang to that song. It's just the perfect headbang rhythm. but I love the cult. Yeah, music and movies are my life. And they're still around, kind of. But yeah, I've got everything they've ever did. She Sells Sanctuary. Rain is still my favorite song by them. But their album Electric was fantastic. Love was fantastic. So he's a weirdo. He let life, some of these stars, man, they let life destroy them and others don't. People like Doro Pesh, she's pretty much made an album every year for the last 30 years, and she's never fallen into drugs or drink. Um, so some people make it through and they keep rocking, like Joan Jett. She's never done any of that stuff and she's still around. you know, Ozzy would still be around if he hadn't have, flipped that four-wheeler over on his ass and that tore him up. Stevie Nicks, she's got a brand new hit song and she's 76. She just turned 76 and that woman has got a hit song right now called The Lighthouse, which I loved it. Um, So it's amazing how some people manage to get through their problems and stick around, and others just fall apart and don't have the spirit to make it through, is the way I put it. Yeah. Hell, even Kiss is still around, other than them just getting so damn old they would have to perform in wheelchairs. Okay, well, you go have fun with them. I'm going to sit here and randomly talk about franchises and finish the stream. Have fun. Tell them I said hi, and yeah, enjoy the evening. And show them that new Stevie Nicks song. It's very, very important, and it's got an important message. So I really, really enjoy it. Show them the video. No problem. I'll be around. Talk to you later. Getting all my stuff straightened out here. Okay. Thanks to Gore for having a little chat. I'm going to move on now. I think I'll start with Predator. Predator is a franchise that I thought was never going to fail me. Unfortunately, they did. Um, we have Predator, the original. This is the 2010 release, which I understand that they did this, which was like 2016 or 2018, somewhere around there. And it was DNR'd so bad that, the DNR was so bad. It's an absolutely awful remaster. Um, I still prefer the older version. I got this because it's got the Blu-ray of Predator 2, which is what I needed I needed the Blu-ray of Predator 2, so I got this. So I do have the remaster of Predator. It just sucks. I wanted the Predator 2 disc. And then we have I still have my DVD of Predator 2 because of the packaging. And then we have Predators. I absolutely love Predators. I think Aiden Brody, yeah. I think he was great. I loved the story. I loved the different you got to see the different races of aliens of predators. That was really cool. Then we have Alien versus Predator. This is the double disc, the double feature, which gave me both the original and Requiem. Now, I still have the the DVD for Alien and for Requiem. So I kept my Blu-rays, my DVDs of them, even though I got the Blu-ray box set, just because they're very collectible. And then we did that thing that I still have not bought. Now, like I said, I know people shit on Requiem all the time. But the truth is, Requiem is actually, it's very shallow, but that's all. It's just shallow. It was filmed a little too darkly, but it's shallow in that it doesn't have a lot of story. It's just a predator attack. It's just one big giant predator attack. So it's a completely action oriented movie, but I really don't hate it like a lot of other people do. They hate Requiem, and I'm like, I don't really think I don't really think it's that bad of a movie. I especially love the ending. And it is the only time so far that we've got to see the Predator homeworld was in Requiem. That little scene where the guy was making the radio contact. Um, I'd really like to see more of the Predator homeworld. So I don't really hate Requiem as much as everyone else does. What I do hate though is that reboot, The Predator. I really didn't think Predator franchise would be able to disappoint me, but that movie is so fucking awful. It is so terrible. I don't know what they were doing to the point where I still haven't bought it because I'm not a completionist anyway, but I still couldn't get myself to buy that. I haven't picked it up yet, The Predator, just to complete everything. And then we had Prey. I almost bought the bootleg, but they finally released it, because I was going to buy the bootleg of it and Barbarian at the same time. But then I saw just the day before they were going to release this. So, which I still should have just got the bootleg. I did get the bootleg for Barbarian because they've still never released that. But Prey. I absolutely love Prey. It was a return to form. It was a fantastic movie. So you're talking about the Predator franchise has not disappointed me except for the Predator. I am okay with Requiem. Um, it's just a mediocre action flick, very shallow without any story. But that's okay. You can just slide it in the franchise and just watch the action movie. So I didn't really have a big problem with Requiem like a lot of people did. So Predator franchise is not perfect, which is what I thought it would be. Instead, it ended up screwing up one time. So it's an almost perfect franchise. Now we'll move on. I haven't seen Alien Romulus, so I don't know. But until I see that, Alien is a perfect franchise for me. Now, it wasn't, there was one little flub, but they fixed that. So right now, currently, it might be the only one or one of the very few But Alien is definitely a perfect franchise to me so far. I haven't seen Romulus, so I don't know what it would be. But we have Alien, the original Alien. I have the Alien quadrilogy, which is what fixed it. It has, Alien, Aliens, Alien Tree, and Resurrection. I absolutely love Prometheus and I love Covenant. I'm very upset that they did not let him finish his other two movies to finish out what he wanted to do. I think that was very rude of them, but then you're talking about corporate shit. So they don't care about the art, they don't care about films, they only care about money. So I'm very upset with that. Now, Alien did have a flub, and that was Alien 3. Alien 3 was the one that I watched the least. Um, it was just really bad. It was very, very 5 out of 10. So up until the release of the Alien quadrilogy, that was the only flub in the Alien franchise, but they fixed it. With the Alien quadrilogy, you get the Alien 3 assembly cut. The assembly cut is like 40 minutes longer, 30 minutes longer, 40 minutes longer. It's a whole lot longer. It's completely re edited, and it takes Alien 3 from a 5.5 out of 10 to a 9.5 out of 10. So if you've never seen Alien Tree assembly cut, you've never really seen Alien Tree. I remember when the quadrilogy came out and I was actually able to see the assembly cut, it was like watching a whole different movie. And I was very happy because up to that point, Alien 3 was the only flub in the Alien franchise to me. Now we got to see the assembly cut, which is an absolutely amazing movie. So fear not if you don't like Alien 3, you can go get the quadrilogy or any of the newer sets of the franchise, and just make sure that it's got the assembly director's cut on it and watch it for real, and you will have an entirely different opinion of Alien 3. So, up until I see Romulus, because I haven't seen Romulus, it should be released sometime soon. And when it gets released on Blu ray, I will buy Alien Romulus sight unseen, and we'll see what I feel about it. But as of right now, Alien is definitely a perfect franchise to me because of Alien 3's assembly cut. So, Predator almost, except for The Predator, which is a horrible movie. It's almost perfect until they did that. And Alien is a perfect franchise. Those are the only two that I got out my collection and brought over here. So we can talk about some of the other franchises. We have the big one, Friday the 13th. Now, Friday the 13th is in no way a perfect franchise because if you include all of them, for me, I'm not a completionist. For me, the Friday the 13th so far, the Friday the 13th franchise ends at number 6. Friday the 13th part 1 through part 4 are masterpieces of horror. They are the pinnacle of the slasher genre. Friday the 13th 5, I really really liked it, and I love 6 as well. So I like 5 and 6. But the franchise ends for me right there. I cannot stand 7, 8, 9, Jason X, Jason Takes Manhattan, all that shit. I hate everything after number 6. I was extremely disappointed by number 7, and that started the decline. And then, like I said, So Friday the 13th, not a perfect franchise. It ends at number 6 with me. Nightmare on Elm Street. That one had an even shorter lifespan. Nightmare on Elm Street. I do like Wes Craven's New Nightmare, but there's argument sometimes as to whether that actually sits outside of the franchise or is actually part of it, because it doesn't go in a timeline. But Nightmare on Elm Street, there are 4 films. I love Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 2, 3, and 4, with number 2, Freddy's Revenge, being my favorite of that franchise. So I can't stand 5, 6, Freddy's dead, all that shit. So Nightmare on Elm Street ends at number 4. The remake is absolutely atrocious. I will go back and say that the remake of Friday the 13th, the 2009 remakes of Elm Street and Friday the 13th, the remake of Friday the 13th is really good. I like it. I've got it. I like it. The remake of Nightmare on Elm Street was only good for about 6 minutes, the first 6 minutes, and then it became like horrible. So I hate the remake. So yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, nowhere near a perfect franchise. Next franchise, Chucky. I do like the TV series. I love every single Chucky movie with Child's Play 3. Child's Play 3 is my favorite of the original trilogy. I cannot stand Seed or Bride. I don't like either one of those. But I do love Cult, and I do love, the ones after Seed and Bride. So, Curse and Cult. So, it's not a perfect franchise. Right there in the middle, you have Seed of Chucky and Bride of Chucky, both of which I can't stand. So I love the ones before and I love the ones after, and I like the TV series, but I can't stand Seed and I can't stand Bride. So no, Chucky is not a perfect franchise. The remake is okay. I like the remake. It's separate, and I like it as a separate film that has nothing to do with Child's Play. But I like it, so it's okay. So Chucky is also a fail. Chucky is not a perfect franchise. I'm running out of franchises. Hostel, there's only 3 of them. I like all 3 of them, so that's all right. VHS, I like them all except for what is it? Viral. VHS Viral. I can't stand that one. I love all the rest though. So again, an almost perfect franchise. Another big one is Halloween. Halloween. Okay, Halloween. Halloween is nowhere near a perfect franchise. Nowhere near. I love Halloween 1 and 2, with 1 being my favorite. Yes, roast me. Send the mob. I don't like Season of the Witch. I cannot stand Halloween 4, and I cannot stand Halloween 5. I don't like either one of those. The little girl thing. I don't really care for those. It did come back in my good graces with 6. Yes, I like 6, especially the director's cut. There are things about the director's cut that I love and things about the theatrical. So I actually like the theatrical and the director's cut of Friday the 13th 6. And then I love H2O. I really love H2O as a separate film on its own. Halloween Resurrection. Just saying the word gives me a fucking headache. Halloween Resurrection sits at the very top of my top 10 worst horror movies of all time. I despise Halloween Resurrection. in every way, shape, or form. So it's awful. The new Halloween trilogy, yes, I love all three of them. Um, I I actually bought them as they were released, but I did not watch them until Halloween Ends was released on Blu-ray and I had it in my hand. And then I was able to sit down and watch the entire trilogy back to back, sight unseen. And it was absolutely fantastic. It was worth waiting, whatever it was, 3 or 4 years uh, from the first one to the last one. Um, they sat over there in one of my stacks until each one was released and I had it in my hand. Then I was able to watch all three of them together. And that was a wonderful experience. I love Halloween Ends. I do think they should have introduced him a little bit at least in Halloween Kills. For him to just spring out of nowhere was a little weird, but it doesn't matter. Taken together as one long movie, I absolutely love the 2018 trilogy. So, although it redeemed itself, Halloween is nowhere near a perfect, it is nowhere near a perfect franchise. Like I said, I don't like Season of the Witch. I don't like 4 and 5. And Halloween Resurrection is one of the worst films ever made. And so, yeah, there's a lot I don't like about Halloween. Since no one's here, which is fine, I'm just talking shit. Um, I think have I hit all of the big franchises? I think so. Alien, Predator, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Chucky. Yeah, I think that's all that I can think of right off the top of my head as far as horror franchises go. Um, I'm not a big fan of the original Evil Dead. I like it. It's good. It's fine. Evil Dead 2 is all right, but it was way too silly for me. Um, then it became like really despised by me with that stupid PG medieval thing. I couldn't stand it. So I much prefer Evil Dead 2013 and Evil Dead Rise. I much prefer them over the originals, which gets me a lot of hate, which is fine. We have the zombie series, which happens to be sitting right there. Let's see what we have here. Day of the Dead. I love 2006 Day of the Dead. It's cheesy, it's phenomenal. We have Dawn of the Dead and Land of the Dead. We have Diary of the Dead. We have Survival of the Dead. And believe it or not, I like this too. And that is we have Day of the Dead Bloodlines. And so yeah, I like all of them. I still need to get what Night of the Living Dead, but sometimes it's hard to keep them straight as to who is who. Evil Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead. But yeah, I still need to get the 80s one. That's on my wish list to get it. And then I was going to do them all. I was going to do a video series on all of them, but I still need to get the 80s one. So, yes, 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 yes. Well, that's all the franchises that I can really think of off the top of my head because no one's here to remind me or ask me about any of them. Um, and I don't have a guest on. So, yes. I can't think of anything else to talk about, man. I can't think of any other franchises. This got enough of them to call them a franchise. I'm not really sure if two or three, I think you may can start calling something a franchise after three, with three movies, but at the same time, I'm not sure. Because couldn't you just call it, you would just call it a trilogy, and leave it at that? Personally, I think you need more than three movies. I think it starts being a franchise at four. Otherwise, it's just the trilogy. You know what I mean? So that's the way that I would look at it anyway. But okay, that's all of the franchises that I can think of off the top of my head in the middle of the night in Florida. That's all that I can think of off the top of my head. I probably missed some, but I can't really think of any more. So enjoyed talking with Gore, and I guess I'll sign off then because I can't remember any more franchises to talk about. Trilogies, yes. Well, The Omen. Yeah, wait, I could talk about The Omen. The Omen. Uh, I love all three of the original Omens. Damien Omen 2 is my favorite of that franchise. Omen 4 is an abomination. It is abomination and does not exist. I do not have it. Do not want it. Um, and this new thing, the first Omen, I didn't like it at all. It's, I guess if it had been a separate movie without the word Omen in it, I would have considered it a all right possession demon thing, but I don't really care for it. And so, kind of the Omen pretty much ends with the original trilogy to me. Um, I do love the remake. So you have Omen 1, 2, and 3, and the remake. I hate Omen 4, and I don't like the first Omen, and I don't consider it part of the franchise because they completely reworked it and took it out of canon. And I'm sorry, but if you're going to take it out of canon, it's no longer, it's the same reason that Star Trek Discovery or whatever is not Star Trek. It's not canon, it doesn't exist, and neither does J.J. Abrams' Boom Boom movies. They don't exist in the Star Trek world. I actually have all three of them. It doesn't mean that they're part of the Star Trek franchise, though. But yeah, so The Omen is just 1, 2, and 3, and the remake. I don't like Omen 4, which is horrible, and I don't like the first Omen, and it's not part of the franchise, in my opinion. Even though they want to say it is, it's not. Um, the Exorcist was just a trilogy. Um, I can't stand Exorcist 2 like most people. Exorcist 3 is my favorite, and Exorcist, the original Exorcist, is my second. So that's not really a franchise either, in my opinion. Um, Lots of clones, but it's, like I said, it gets difficult when there's only three movies, you know. So yeah, we'll leave it at that then. I caught The Omen, and now I really can't think of any other franchises of the major franchises to talk about. Amityville, there's one. I like Amityville 1. I like Amityville 2. The Possession is my favorite. Amityville 3, It's About Time. Is that right? Yeah. I love the remake of Amityville from 2005. Um, I only like one of those a billion sequels, and that is one called The Amityville Murders, which is like a remake of Amityville 2 The Possession. So, yeah, all of the rest, all of those Amityville things are absolutely horrible. I did hear there is one other one called Amityville Awakening that actually has Jennifer Jason Leigh in it that is good and is worth getting, so I might have to get that. But as far as the quote franchise goes, there's just those five: Amityville 1, Amityville 2, Amityville It's About Time, the remake, and the Amityville Murders, and possibly this Amityville Awakening that I was told about. But I will see you in the next thing I do. I just popped on to talk about franchises, talked with Goraphobe for a little bit, and I will see you later. Night. Have a good night. Bye bye.